Hello friends, myself Vishnu Kaneria. Today we are discussing on direct tax. Now question is, what is direct tax? Who is liable to pay direct tax? For what purpose government collect tax? There are so many questions in our mind. But after completion of this chapter, you will get all the question of your answer. So let's start. In the direct tax chapter, we will discuss following topics in depth. First, basic concept of direct tax. Income from salary means a person who get income in the form of salaries either from government or private sector. Income from house property means rent on house. Profit and gains of business or profession means income generates from the business in terms of gross profit, net profit. Income from capital gains. Gains means we can get from the selling our capital goods. For example, we purchase a land in 5 lakh and sold in 7 lakh. So 2 lakh is our capital gain. Income from other sources, carry forward and set off. It means income in the form of dividend, interest, gift, etc. Deduction from total income, advance tax and interest. Out of our total income, government allows some deduction from our total income under different section. Computation of taxable income for individual, computation of taxable income for the firm, income tax return. As we all know, all the individual have to file IT return within a time bound and also claim for the tax refund. If government collects more tax then actually person has to pay, then an individual claim for a tax refund. And last but not at the least, TDS means tax deducted at source. Now there are mainly two types of the tax, as we all know, direct tax and indirect tax. Direct tax means a person who paid directly to the government. The example of direct tax is personal tax and wealth tax, etc. While indirect tax means person has not paid directly to the government. The best example of indirect tax is GST. Basic concept of income tax, some terms: assessee, previous year, assessment year, person, heads of income, residential status. Now we learn each terms in a depth. Assessee, any person who is liable to pay tax or other sum of money like interest, penalty, etc. is an assessee. In short, we can say that any person who is liable to pay tax is known as assessee. Previous year, it means a financial year in which income is earned. For example, if we earning income in the year 2011-12, so 11-12 will be previous year and it start, as we all know, 1st April to 31st March. Assessment year, it is the year just after the previous year in which the income of the previous year is assessed or compound. So for the previous year 2011-12, assessment year would be 2012-13. So we can say that simply the year in which income generated is known as previous year and the next year of previous year is known as assessment year. Person, it includes the following: individual, Hindu undivided family, company, firm, association of person, local authority, every artificial judicial person which are not falling under any of the above category. Now we start each terms in depth. Heads of income. Income from salaries, income from house property, profit and gains of business or profession, income from capital gains, income from other sources. The important thing is here is that if any income does not fall under any of the heads above 4, then is known as income from other sources. Now the most important and interesting concept is residential status. Any person is either resident or non-resident of India. If the person is resident, then he is either ordinary resident or non-ordinary resident of India. So first we have to identify whether person is resident or non-resident, and if he or she is resident, then identify ordinary or not ordinary resident. Clear? Now we learn condition. On the basis of that, we can identify whether the person status is resident or non-resident. There are mainly two conditions, primary and secondary. If the individual fulfill primary condition, we can say that the person is resident of India. And if individual fulfill both the criteria of secondary condition, then we can say that the person is ordinary resident, and if he or she not fulfill condition, then he is not ordinary resident of India. Now start primary condition. There are mainly two types. There are mainly two conditions in primary. First, he stayed in India for 182 days or more in previous year, or he has stayed in India for at least 60 days during previous year and 365 days or more during the last 4 preceding previous year. Any of the one condition fulfilled above 2, then it is known as resident of India. Now secondary condition. He must be resident of India for 2 years out of 10 years of preceding the relevant previous year. For example, if previous year is 2019-20, so preceding 10 years from 2019-20, individual must be 2 years of resident. Second, he stayed in India at least 730 days in the last 7 years, immediately preceding relevant of previous year. For example, if the previous year is 2019-20, so preceding 7 years from 1920, individual at least 730 days stayed in India. If individual satisfy both the secondary condition, individual is ordinary resident, and if not fulfill, then he or she is non-ordinary resident of India. So we conclude that an individual satisfying one or more of the primary condition and all the secondary condition, he will be considered as resident. However, an individual satisfying one or more of the primary condition but only one or none of the secondary condition, he or she will be considered as not ordinary resident. Lastly, any of the individual who is not satisfying none of the primary condition will be considered as not resident of India. Residential status for other than individual are as follows. Residential status for Hindu undivided family. If the control of the management of the affairs of HUF is situated wholly or partially in India, the HUF is said to be resident. It means that if the control and management of HUF in India, then we can say that HUF is resident. And if the control and management is outside of India, then we can say that non-resident of India. Now, a resident HUF is said to be non-ordinary resident, while if the Karta or manager have fulfilled above two conditions, then we can say that a karta or a resident HUF is not ordinary resident. The first condition, karta has been non-resident in India in 9 years out of 10 years immediately preceding the relevant previous year, or he has been present in India for 729 days or less during 7 years immediately preceding previous year. If both the condition or any of the one condition fulfills, then resident HUF is known as non-ordinary resident. Residential status of company. An Indian company is always resident in India, and if the foreign company and the management or a control of the foreign company is situated in India, is also known as resident of India. We take example so we get a clear idea about resident status. Here the details of stay days in India from 1997 to 98 to 2010 to 2011. So first of all we have to check the primary condition. So we conclude that Mr. Singhal is resident or non-resident of India. So let's start. The first condition of primary is that 182 days or more during previous year. So here previous year is 2010-11. He stayed only 120 days. So answer is no. While the second condition is at least 60 days in previous year and 365 days during the last 4 years of previous year. So let's check. Here the previous year 2010-11 120 days. We require only 60 days. So condition fulfilled. And second condition 365 days during the last 4 years. Last 4 years means 2009-10 to 2006-7. So total days during this period is 120 plus 105 plus 59 plus 160. So total 444 days. So it means that it more than 365 days. So answer is yes. Means primary condition, first condition 182 days or more, it's not satisfied, while second condition is satisfied. If any one condition is fulfilled, then we can say that Mr. Singhal is resident of India. And here second condition is fulfilled. Let's check the secondary condition. In the first condition, resident for 2 years out of 10 years preceding relevant to previous year. During the 2009-10 to 2001 period, he is resident of India. At least 2 years. So answer is yes. Here we can say that we have to apply primary condition in last 10 years and identify whether Mr. Singhal is resident for at least 2 years or not. Here he is eligible. Now second condition, at least 730 days during the last 7 years of immediately preceding of previous year. Here from 2009-10 to 2003-4 means a total of 7 years. He stayed how many days? You have to find out. The answer is 811. So more than 730. So he is also fulfilled this condition. So Mr. Singhal fulfills both conditions. So he is ordinary resident of India. So we can say that Mr. Singhal is resident and ordinary resident of India. Let's revise. Primary condition 182 days or more during the previous year, Mr. Singhal not fulfilled. Second condition, he is fulfilled. While secondary condition, Mr. Singhal fulfills both conditions. So we can say that Mr. Singhal is resident and ordinary resident of India. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any idea, any suggestion, any query, then please comment. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe.